Good morning. Welcome to our webinar on how to invite customers to EPIC. And what we're going to talk about today are a couple of things that we need for you to know how to do, and hopefully you pick up some information. Please check in with us by either checking the box where it says tell us what region you're from, and or typing into the chat pod, especially if you have extra people with you. What I'm going to do right now is pull up my screen so that we can share a PowerPoint presentation with you. So if you need to see something a little bit bigger than what I have it on the screen, there is a little icon at the top that has 4 arrows, and you can take this up to full screen. But the handout is in the file pod in the lower left-hand corner, so you can download that if you need to do that. So let's get started with a little bit about what EPIC is about. We were one of 10 states across the nation to be awarded this grant for the SNAP ENT pilot program. Each program that's working across the country is working to encourage and increase the SNAP participants' ability to leave public assistance. So the Farm Bill is requiring some evaluation on this process so that we can potentially move this forward across the state or across the country to help other SNAP recipients in other states. So here's a map of the states. You can see there's urban and rural and northeast, south, and west. What we hope to learn is from the work that we're doing with the participants, will they be able to find good jobs? Will it enable them to support themselves without the extra public assistance of SNAP? What services are most useful? What do the customers find they're most helpful to? And what are our recommendations to other states? We were awarded $21.9 million for this program. 19.5 of that is going to the community-based organizations that will be actually providing the training to the customers. And as you can see on the bottom of this slide, there's a number of partners who are working to make this program a success. In Illinois, there are 5 DHS regions that we are working with, and as you can see from the map, we need to get 5,000 total people into the program, and each region is responsible for those numbers that you see. The numbers in black are for the expanded services, which is what we are calling EPIC ENT, and the red number is for those people who are randomly assigned to stay business as usual, which we're calling core services. Illinois WorkNet is a major player here. We're doing the web portal system for you guys. We've done all of the programming for the dashboard that you will be working in. We're helping with all of the training along with members of the DHS team, Deidre Wesley, Lisa Sparks, Areli. I can't ever remember Areli's last name. I apologize, Areli. And then we have our team in Springfield, Olivia Grisham, Natasha Telger, and Tammy Stone, Tammy Stone is with the Department of Commerce. Olivia and Natasha are with Illinois WorkNet as well. We have programmers who have worked diligently at making this back-end computers type things very effective for everyone. We all work together to make this program a success. We're working together to make a team effort so that all of these customers can move forward and become independent of public assistance. Illinois WorkNet's role in this is to help with the outreach information. We're providing the training. We've set up a dashboard. We're integrating with IDHS when IES is up and available. We're working on the eligibility steps and review. We're helping with the enrollment procedures and processes, and we're helping with the outcome reporting for the customers. So what we want to do right now is show you just a few of the tools that we have available. And initially what you all will be working with, and that's the reason why you're on this webinar, is the intake and orientation tools. So we have the DHS role for all of our staff, and we have a CBO role for all of our partners. The essence of where you guys need to go and what you need to remember. The one website that you need to remember of any of them is this one at the bottom of the page, illinoisworknet.com/epicpartners. So if you are able to bookmark that onto your computers, it will be the most useful site for this whole system, and I will show you why in just a couple of minutes. So I just put that link in the chat pod. What we need to do is we need to recruit our SNAP recipients across 33 counties in the study, and they were all listed on the map there. So 85% of the participants need to be work registrants. We can accept 15% of those people, and work registrants are those SNAP recipients who may be employed, who are exempt from the work requirement, and we have a list. We're putting up a question in the FAQ about what the difference is between a work registrant and a non-work registrant. Some of you may already know that, but we will define that for you. Participants in the study may be mandatory or voluntary, and at the SNAP E&T office at 59th Street, they had a document that they would ask, are you currently in school? Are you caring for an elderly family member? Or are you caring for a family member? There's a whole list of items. Even if the person is not what we call an ABOD, an adult, able-bodied adult without dependent children, they can participate. So the target is 18 to 49-year-old ABODs, but if they are over 49, they are allowed to participate as a voluntary participant. And if they do have one of the exemptions that would make them not an ABOD, they can volunteer to participate. Some of the outreach materials that we have is a website, a public-facing website where the pods will be working with the intake orientation. We have some flyers. We are going to be starting an entire outreach campaign once we get all of the decentralization up and working properly so that we can hopefully push people to the offices so that you're not having to rely on the people that are just coming into the offices on their own. This is a chart, and it is available on the Partner Resources page. It explains the differences between what services someone would receive if they are assigned to EPIC versus if they are assigned to the SNAP control group. As you can see, there are quite a few additional services available to the individual who is assigned to the treatment group. We need to recruit, recruit, recruit. Along the way, we initially thought that we were going to have to reach out to 60,000 people. I think that number is going to be much higher. I think we're looking at more like 150,000 people across the state. We have some people that never ever respond. We have some people that are not eligible. And then when it gets down to the end, once they go through the application process and go through the random assignment, we don't lose, but we have half of the people that are assigned to control and half of the people that are assigned to the treatment group, which is the EPIC SNAP E&T services group. We know that we have about a 23% show rate across the state, and we're hoping that by talking to people one-on-one in the feeder offices that we will get a higher show rate. Through the EPIC orientation, we show some videos. We have them do some activities during the intake orientation, And then we have the dashboard where we can see where people fell in or out of the system during the orientation process. We also have some eligibility review tools. At this time, if the person goes through the application process, the information that they fill out on their application will tell us what programs they are eligible to participate in. And so the DHS caseworkers in the pods will be going through this step with the customers. And then at the random assignment, we have another website that we go to. And if the participant, if the customer does not have any programs that they are eligible to participate in, then they can decline to participate. Or if they go through the random assignment, there is an informed consent that they need to agree to. Otherwise, they decline to participate. When they get to the random assignment step, it's like a coin toss. It's a 50-50 chance whether or not they get into the program. The caseworker does not make the decision. The system makes the decision. And if you have 10 people in the room, I would assume that 5 of them are going to random assignment for EPIC, and 5 of them would go to the core group. But realize that everybody across the state, in some cases, are doing this on the same day. So all those people, maybe it's 300 people that are going through random assignment that day. We would see 150 go to treatment, and we would see 150 go to core. Then after the random assignment process is complete, the systems talk to each other. So EPIS and EPIC talk to each other. We have some pre-populated forms that will make the referral to the CBO. There is an appointment system in place so that the customer, if they're assigned to randomly be selected to the EPIC group, they will walk out with an appointment that day to go to their community-based organization to start that process with them. So our next steps for all of you are, we need you to have an Illinois WorkNet partner account. So you need to go to illinoisworknet.com and set up your Illinois WorkNet account. Then when you're done, send us an email to epic@illinoisworknet.com, and I'm going to type that into the chat pod. Got to make my fingers work the right way. Send us an email to that email address to let us know what office you're in and and that you have set up your account. And then we will give you rights so that you can start the invitation process. Then on Fridays from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., we have a technical assistance call, and it's the same webinar and phone number that you dialed into or typed into today. So you're welcome to listen through your computer speakers, or you can dial into the phone number. Often we may set up, open up the microphones like we will do today so that you can ask any questions that you might have. All right, so I'm done with our presentation, and I'm going to start doing some demonstration. So if you did not already have a chance to check in, please do so by region before I cover up the screen one more time. So we have 13 people on the call, and I've got 9 people checked in. So if you are on the call and you have a chance, check in which region you are with. I would appreciate that very much. All right, I'm going to cover that up, and I'm going to start sharing my screen. And we should, let me know by raising your hand if you can see the EPIC Pilot Program Partner Guide. Do you see that on the screen? All right, so there's a little man at the top of the screen, at the top of the webinar box, so that you can say yes or no. So I've got enough confirmation here that I'm going to move ahead. This is the website that you need to bookmark. It is www.illinoisworknet.com/epicpartners. This is the one site that if you do not remember anything else, remember this one, because it will let you get wherever you need to go and to all of your resources as you move forward with the program. On the right-hand side of the screen, you see the big EPIC logo. And if you click there, it will take you to the public-facing website, and it will take you to Illinois EPIC. Now, I invite you to come to the website so that you can take a look around. Up at the top, you can go to the menu and click on Step 1. There are 3 videos that we show to the customers, and you are welcome to watch those. Those are the ones that will explain the program in a little bit more detail from the customer side of the game. And then you can see that this chart is right here on the main page. As we work through the orientation at the pods, when they have one scheduled, they can go between steps. The Step 2 is a career cluster inventory, where the participant will take a look at a bunch of questions that tells them what their interests might be. Then on Step 3, it shows them what training programs are available by their interests or their industries that they found during the course of the career cluster inventory. And as you can see here, if I pick Region 1, it shows me at the end of the career clusters how many training programs there are available. And if the customer checks a couple of boxes, it will give them some information for their interests. Then they can also say what their personal circumstances are. For example, if someone is legally blind, they would not necessarily be able to be a truck driver. So we use that example on a regular basis. If they are on the sexual offender registry, they cannot work in the healthcare industry. Once they enter their zip code, so I'm going to put 60636 just because I know that one pretty well, it will show them down here in a list the program that's available, the career information, how long the training program is, how it is accessible distance-wise. And then there's some videos that they can watch to tell them a little bit more about the programs themselves. If they get to this point and they determine that they want to move forward, they would go to the next step, which is the completion of the application. To get to the application, they have to be invited. And that's what we're going to do today, is talk to you about how to actually move forward with that orientation process. Back on our partner program guide, we can get to our dashboard, and we want to do that to check where our numbers are. We have a full list of resources available. We have some restricted resources for which you need to be signed in with your Illinois WorkNet account, with your Illinois WorkNet partner account. And then we have training materials and videos, frequently asked questions, updates. We have a whole lot of how-to videos that I have recorded. We have all of our webinars that we have held and recorded here. Then we have a calendar that shows us who's doing orientation where and when. So as you can see, there are orientation dates available for Humboldt Park, for Northwest, Southeast, Jackson. There are other areas across the state, so it's not just Chicago in the calendar. So you have to pay attention to what's there. And as we are looking at, for example, Humboldt Park, it will show us where it is and some more information about time. So as you become familiar and are feeding people to the orientation sites, we will talk about how you're going to do that, whether you're going to do brand new customers one week and then do re-invites the following week. So we'll talk about that within your offices so that you know what the schedule is going to be. As we scroll back up to the top, we can access our partner dashboard, and I want to show you the full list of resources. So if you're trying to find something, you can go in here, and alphabetically it's listed by CBO or DHS or the marketing flyers. Whatever it is you need, you can pretty much find it here, and then it is a PDF document. The one thing that you will need for setting a customer up is the customer orientation handout. That is right here. And if you click on this document, you can open it up. And then you could also download and print a number of these documents so that you have them available to fill out for your customers. All right, let's move on to the test site. And this is opening here. When we log in initially to the EPIC dashboard, it will take you to, it's going to ask me to log in again. I just know it. And it's taking its sweet time thinking about it. There. All right. So you'll be taken to the dashboard, but it will ask you to log in. So right now I'm logging into the test site, and I'm putting in my password. So what you would do is you would enter your Illinois WorkNet account and your Illinois WorkNet partner account password. And then you would sign in, and it will take you to the dashboard. And the landing page that you will always land on is the customer page. Here you can search for any customer. In the hopefully brand new near future, we're looking at mid-October, we will be able to just search for a customer because we will be syncing with IES. So from this page, you will be able to type in a name and find them based on whether or not they are in the system. So up until the point in time where we inform you that the syncing has taken place, we need you to physically, manually invite a customer to the orientation. To do that, you're on the DHS, you're on the Customers tab, you're on the DHS Invite, and then you click over here in the right-hand side to add a DHS customer. Now, if you have any questions during this process, please type them into the chat pod. We will open up the phone lines once I'm done with the demonstration so that you can ask any questions that you are confused about. We do have a recording for this, and in the file pod in the lower left-hand corner, we do have the directions to invite a customer. Please remember that you do need to sign up for an Illinois partner account, and then you need to let us know what office you are associated with so that we can give you rights to access the dashboard. So I'm going to create a customer, and I'm going to name this customer Brown. Oh, I'm going to make it Red Leaf. And I'm going to give my customer their Social Security number. The Social Security number that you need to use is on the third page of the customer's file. And then you would select an office. And I'm just going to select 59th Street right now just because it's easier. The RIN number needs to be added, but if you do not happen to have the RIN number at the moment that you are inviting the customer, you can click this box. For this demonstration, I am just going to repeat the Social Security number. And then you need to have the DHS case ID, but if at the moment you do not have the DHS case ID, you can check the box. But we do encourage you, especially if you are inviting them from your desk, to enter all of these numbers at the moment. And I'm just going to replicate the Social Security number one more time and add 4 digits because the DHS case ID is 13 digits. Just like buying cigarettes or liquor, you have to be a certain age by the date of the invitation for you to be able to invite the customer. The customer must be 18 years old, so it defaults to the 1998 so that you can pick the day from the calendar of that birth date. So for this demonstration, I'm just going to pick August 1st. So remember, if the customer sitting in front of you is turning 18 tomorrow, they have to come back so that you can invite them tomorrow. Or you just have to do the invitation tomorrow and mail the invitation to them. We're going to enter an address, and I'm going to make one up here. I'm typing in Chicago, and I'm going to use that 59th Street zip code. Now you have 2 options here. You can add the DHS customer, or you can add an invite. If you add the DHS customer, it throws them back into a list. So if you accidentally hit this, they'll show up in a list. So on purpose, I'm going to hit this button right here, and it's going to put me into a list that I can find from my customer list. Actually, I can find it from my DHS invite list. So as I look at this list, it shows me everybody who was entered into the system but was not invited. So I go down and I find my red leaf. So there's red leaf right there. So I find my red leaf and I click on the invite button. Now when I click on the invite button, this is the exact same thing that happens when I click on the add customer and invite. So here what happens, this is information that you have entered about the customer. It's their name, date of birth, all the social, all of the address, the RIN, the case ID. If you click in the orientation date and then hover over the date, it gives you how many appointments have been scheduled or whether there is a session that day. So I'm going to go, since there is no session on the 31st, I'm going to go into September, and I'm going to look at September 6th. So if I look at September 5th, it should default to no session because it is a holiday. So we're hoping that this works wonderfully and that on Saturdays and Sundays we have no sessions show up. If you do happen to notice something, please alert us so that we can fix that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to schedule this customer for Tuesday, and I see that there is no one scheduled for the morning or the afternoon session. So I can pick Tuesday the 6th, and then I can pick morning or afternoon. I'm going to pick morning because I want all of my people filled up in the morning session first. Esther is asking, hi Esther, you were in class the other day. If we make a mistake here with the info, can we edit or make corrections? Yes, we can change the names. If you need to change the numbers, you need to email us at epic@illinoisworknet.com because the numbers, the DHS number and the case ID, the DHS number and the case ID can be corrected, but we do need to make sure that we're updating that in the system. We cannot correct the Social Security number from the dashboard, So we have to email the information to epic@illinoisworknet.com, and I'm going to tell you how to send that information, because we have to worry about the personal identifying information. We have to be very cognizant of a customer's information in this process. So as we click the date and the morning, we're going to invite. So once you've picked the time and the day, we're going to invite. What this does is it searches by Social Security number to see if the customer is already in the system. And as we're waiting here, it's taking a peek. If the customer is already in the Illinois WorkNet system, it will tell you their username, and it will let you know that they need to reset their password. Otherwise, a new customer information is set up. And so what we would want to do is we would want to copy this information in two places. We would want to put it in this EPIC orientation handout. We would want to put in the day, the morning or afternoon, and you'll know based on who you're feeding what time the sessions start. It will more than likely be a 9 a.m. start and either a 1 or a 1:30 start for the afternoon. But your pods will alert you to what times the sessions will be held. You'll want to put in the location information, what pod are you sending them to, and then you will want to write down the current username and password information. If the person is there in front of you, you will want to give them this information, and it is case sensitive, so please make sure that you are writing it down with the proper case, whether it's a capital or a lowercase, and make sure that you indicate what the numbers are. Just so that you know, this password is inclusive of their date of birth. So they will need to change their password once they come to orientation. Chamitha, I may have just messed up your name. If there are too many clients scheduled, will there be an alert to schedule a different date or time? What shows up on the screen is full. So for example, many of the offices are setting their limit at 15. They have 10 laptops. We know that from fallout, they'll probably lose quite a few of those people because they chose not to participate at that time. So the orientation will say full, but it will not prevent you from scheduling that person. So you just have to be cognizant of the fact that if we overschedule a pod for a training session, that customers may have to wait to use a computer, a laptop. Does that answer your question? Okay, great. Okay, so now I'm going to close this information, and I'll try to show you. We'll look at somebody here for, we're going to look at Roger Gluckman, and we're going to try to invite him for tomorrow. There's nobody scheduled, so I can't show you the full option, but it will show up where it says morning. There would be like a 16 or a 17, and it would have in parentheses full. So hopefully that is what you need to pay attention to. Okay, once you have customers invited, we get to look at the dashboard. And on the dashboard, we go up to dashboards, we click the down arrow, and we look at intake. On the intake dashboard, you get to see who is scheduled for orientation. So if I go to Region 1, and if I look at Mid-South, the pod at Mid-South, and what will happen is all of the feeder offices, if you feed Mid-South, you will be able to see Mid-South. if you have the ability to feed 2 different offices, you will see 2 different offices, and then you would pick the office. So if I filter by that, I will see who is scheduled for Mid-South. So if I look at these names, I can look at the list and I can see who in my list is scheduled for orientation. I can also see who's scheduled for follow-up. One of the things that you need to write on the 1721 that you're going to give the customer, you're either going to hand it to them or you're going to mail it to them. So the 2 documents that they would get if you're mailing them or handing it to them is the EPIC orientation checklist with the information filled out in this box and the 1721. And on the 1721, you want to include on the notes at the bottom of the page that the orientation may take up to 3.5 hours. We don't want the customers to be surprised that they may need to stay there that long if they're willing to participate in the program. So to go through step 1, watch the videos, is about 20 minutes. To go through step 2 is about 25 minutes. To go through step 3 could be up to a half an hour. To fill out the application could be up to 30 to 45 minutes, depending upon how much work experience they have. And then to actually go through the case manager appointment could be 45 minutes, but they may have to wait to actually go through the random assignment process. So that's why we're saying include a 3.5 hour time period on that 1721. We also want to have them bring any work experience or work history with them so that when they are completing the application, they can fill that information out appropriately. If somebody misses orientation, you will see a list here of who didn't show up for orientation. One of the things that we will need to be doing with these customers from your office is you will be needing to do, because all of our Region 1 customers are mandatory, you will be needing to complete a 2846G for a conciliation appointment and then rescheduling them for a second orientation. You can re-invite the customer from this page, or you can go to their profile. So I'm going to go to David Bass's profile. And I go to his Intake Activities tab, and I would reschedule him for a specific date. So I could go in and schedule him for tomorrow if I know that he's telling me that he'll be there tomorrow. Then if you look at their profile details, here is where you can correct a DHS case ID or a RIN number. You can also correct a first name or a last name or an email address. Again, if you need to correct a Social Security number, you will need to contact EPIC at illinoisworknet.com, and you will need to inform us of what customer needs to be corrected using either the other participant ID or the DHS caseworker ID. Let me make this a bit bigger here so that you can see that. The other participant ID shows up on every screen of the person's profile, and the DHS case ID and the RIN number also show up on in a box on every piece of this person's profile. So you want to communicate with us using the other participant ID or the SNAP case ID. And I'm going to type that into the chat pod. Oh, and I can't type. Communicate with Illinois WorkNet or other DHS staff in emails using the other participant ID or the DHS case ID. Now, if you happen to talk to me on a phone, or if you happen to talk to Deidre or Aurelie or Lisa on the phone, you are more than welcome to give us the person's name and other identifying information. But if it's by email, you do need to use the other participant ID or the DHS case ID. Okay, I'm done with this initial demonstration. So, Olivia, if you can open up the phone lines. When Olivia opens up the phone lines, we do need you to mute your phone or cover up the speaker so that if there's any background noise, we're not hearing that on the recording because we are recording this session.
Your microphone has been turned on.
You can ask us any questions that you have about the process right now.
Hello, my name is Shamitha, and I'm calling from the Lower North office.
Hi, can you speak up a little bit, please?
Okay, sure. I'm calling from Lower North, and I just had a question about the passwords, because I noticed that you said that once we see the client and we do the initial work with them, they need to change it because it's going to just default to their birth date?
It's their last name and their birth date. So during the application process, the customer will be triggered to change their password for Illinois WorkNet on the application. So on the first screen of the application, once they agree to the terms, that next screen asks them about their address information, phone, email. It will prompt them to change their Illinois WorkNet ID, and then that will be changed in the system. At the pods can download an Excel spreadsheet that will give them the username and password that you established for the customer. So in the event that they lose their 1721 or lose that other document, the dog ate it, it went out in the trash by accident, whatever it is, then they can give them that username and password. So does that answer your question?
Yes.
Thank you. Does anybody else have a question?
And I have one last question.
Sure.
Like, say, for instance, how you were saying maybe in mid-October, if this program syncs with IES, will we be able to just go straight through IES and do all this, or will we still have to access EPIC a separate way?
You'll still need to access EPIC, but because EPIC does not feed back to IES, at least at this moment, they're not allowing us to feed back to IES. But all of the information, so on this system, on the EPIC system, the CBOs, the community-based organizations, can see all of the information about the customer, and the DHS staff can see all of the information about the customer. Illinois WorkNet can see all of the information about the customer. So this is a system where multiple partners can communicate and view the files for one person. And so it's a whole lot easier for us to use this. On the customer profile, what will happen once IES syncs is you'll be able to just type that DHS customer's name in to this box right here. So like if I say Tom Jones, and if he is in the IES system, I will be able to search and he'll show up. If he doesn't show up, it means he either is too brand new in the system or something isn't syncing properly, and then you would have to physically add the customer again. But in most cases, once IES syncs, you'll be able to look up that customer right there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, so let me show you. If you go to the EPIC partner page. So the EPIC Partner Guide, you can sign up for Illinois WorkNet. Once you're signed up, you can log in by clicking on Login. So if you go to illinoisworknet.com, or if you go to illinoisworknet.com/EPIC-partners, I'm going to go to just the main website. So you can go to this site that's going to come up on my screen momentarily. I love technology, but there are days where I feel like I'm still on dial-up. You can log in here, or you can sign up here. And what you do to sign up is pretty super simple. If you want to, if you have not already signed up, we would appreciate you doing that really swiftly so that we can get you rights, so that we can do invitations, because we've got our first orientation happening on September 6th, and we need to get people invited. Toot sweet. So you would enter your first name, your last name, your date of birth. Now this is your actual information. Use your illinois.gov email address. Put in the zip code. You can either use your office zip code or you can use your personal zip code. Select a secret question. That's how you can answer it. Select a username. My suggestion would be to use your DHS email address. Enter a password and confirm the password. Accept the terms and hit save. What it will do then is it will send an email to your illinois.gov email address to confirm that the email address that you entered is correct. If you don't ever get that email, then you need to alert us, because then we can go in, find you, and fix the system. You'll confirm the email address, and then you will send us the email that to the EPIC, and I'm going to type it in here one more time, at Illinois WorkNet. Oh my goodness, my fingers just are not working this morning. Send us the email at epic@illinoisworknet.com with which office you are in, and we will assign you rights to the pods to which you will be referring customers. All right, any questions about signing up for an account? Let's do a show of hands from the people that are on the computer. Who already has an account? If you're logged into the webinar, go to the top of the screen and click, Aurelie, I know you have an account. All right, so I got a few people on the call that do not have an account. So I need you to get those signed up for today, hopefully. And we will get your rights assigned. All right, well, I don't hear any other questions. We do have this recorded, so we will share this recording out to the illinoisworknet.com/EPIC-partners page. It will show up here. Once you're assigned to your pod, you can click into, from the partner page, you can click into the dashboard from this link right here. It will ask you for your username and password. You are welcome to play around on test, and we do, in the file pod below, we do have some practice links. So let me get logged in. Let me go to the partner resources here. I do have to log in because that is that piece is on the restricted resources. So on the restricted resources page, you can find, under the DHS resources, you can find the practice links right here, and it will show you which link you need to go to practice for, so that you can do a couple, create somebody, and do the test application if you want to. But you might want to practice to do the invitation before you move forward and work in the what we call production. All right, so that is our presentation for the day. Last chance for questions. Does anybody have a question? All right. Well, thank you for joining us this morning. I look forward to working with all of you. Again, if you have any questions, epic@illinoisworknet.com. Please join us on our Friday morning technical assistance webinars. Those are at this same webinar address and this same phone number from 10 to 11 a.m. And we'll talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your day.